Hello, in this lecture, we're going to take a look at how to build a script to do some row inserts on a table of a database. And actually, insert statements are not that difficult to craft by hand. But if you're learning, there's a nifty trick that you can use to get started. And so let's go over to MyWebDB and expand that out. And we'd like to let's say, do some inserts on the users and products tables. So let's go get the tables. And here's the users table. And if I right click over here in the Object Explorer window, I can find an option that says script table as. So let's script an insert, and let's script this first one to a new query editor window. Okay, so then I have a template that I can use. I can edit this to insert one or more rows. Okay, so I'm going to do insert of a couple rows on the, let's see, I'm going to add 3 rows to the downloads table, 2 rows to the user and products table. So let's go set up the products and the download table as well. So I'll come over here to the downloads table, right click it, and say script table as, and we're going to script an insert. And this time I'm going to put it on the clipboard. And then from the clipboard, I'm going to paste it in here. So there's my template. So you see that we're building one script that is going to do inserts on multiple tables. Okay, and then the last one we need to do, we got the users table, the downloads table, and then we need the products table. I guess the products table was supposed to be our second batch of inserts. So let's make a little room there. We'll put it in there. So let's go grab the products table, right click it, and we're going to script table as, insert, and we'll put this again on the clipboard. And then I will Control V, paste it in from the clipboard here. And let's take a look at the structure of the insert statements it's created for us. So it's setting up the database, and it's enumerating all the fields, which is really kind of convenient because then we can see which values that we're putting in are going into which fields. It's a really common mistake to have a field that you put in the wrong order when you're just enumerating by values. This list here, that could be omitted, but having it there makes it easy to say, okay, the first value I'm going to put in is going to go to the user ID. The second value is going to the email address. Then there's the first name and then the last name. So I can line these up. I know which ones are going to go, what data is going to go where. Okay. Now I'm going to take this whole piece here where it said values, and I'm just going to get it out of the way. I've deleted it for a moment. And what I want to show you is we want to insert 2 rows. Okay. So there's a row, something in there, comma, and then something in there. Okay, so the contents in the parentheses here are going to be the list of values to be inserted into the first row I want to insert, and then the second row. Okay, and so I want to insert the user ID, email address, first name, and last name. And so let's generate some data for that. Okay, so let's say we're going to have user number 1, and it's going to be Jon Smith at gmail.com with a first name of John and a second name of Smith. And notice that this first value here, because it's a numeric literal rather than a string literal, I didn't have to put it in quotes. So if I did put it in quotes in the SQL Server environment, SQL Server is kind of accommodating. It will implicitly cast that. Other databases may be picky about that, and it's actually in your best interest that they're picky. Microsoft's a bit non-standard because it protects you against putting the wrong kinds of values in the wrong places. Microsoft, because it tries to thunk it or implicitly cast it for you or to infer a data type, if it guesses right, that's really to the good. If it guesses wrong, though, it can cause you endless grief and a mess that you need to clean up in your data later. So just be aware of that. It's helpful, but maybe sometimes too helpful. All right, our second row is going to be 2, Jane Doe at yahoo.com. Jane Doe. And then we've separated the batches here. It has when we generated the script auto-magically. You like that, auto-magically? With the Go will separate the batches. The other thing we could do, it's a little bit more common. I like this convention better, so I'm going to demonstrate it. Either one will work. In the batch with a semicolon, get rid of the word Go, and we're there as well. Also, I've already set the set the database context, so I could get rid of this. It won't hurt anything, but it's kind of redundant. So let's write nice tight scripts that don't have a lot of redundancy in them. And let's get rid of this use and go here as well. And in fact, I'm going to take and get rid of that Go, and we'll end in a semicolon. And I'm going to get rid of this Go, and we'll just end in a semicolon. Okay, so here I am ready to insert a couple of rows. Same deal. And let's pretty this up a little bit so it's a little easier to read. The computer does not care whether it's nicely aligned or not. Some languages are alignment dependent or space dependent. The parser in SQL does not really care how it's aligned. That's just for your benefit, but I think it makes nice readable code. So I take a little time and do that. And we're going to add 2 values now to the products table. Okay, and the key value is going to be 1. Again, that's an integer, so it doesn't have to be quoted. And local music vol 1. And in the second row, let's have local music vol 2. And it ought to bother you a little bit that there's too much here that seems to be red. That tells me it probably failed to terminate a string because it's seeing this all not as code, but as string literals. So let's see, go back and find out where we've blown the string. Okay. There it is. I missed terminating that string. Isn't IntelliSense helpful? Great. Okay, so now we've got the colors we expect for keywords and for parameters and whatnot, and for string literals in red. So that helped me out a lot. Kept me from making a mistake and then being frustrated, going, what did I miss? It's always the little things, right? Okay, so now we've scripted 2 batches. And oh, by the way, we could also, if it bugs you to use the keyword Go to separate the batches, we could do this one here as well. Again, get rid of Go, use a semicolon. That works very well. And we're getting a nice tight script here, really concise and brief. I'm liking this. Okay, and now we need to do some updates into the downloads table. And so again, I'm going to come in here, delete all that. 1 row, 2 rows, 3 rows in the batch. And to be consistent, I'll put some line breaks in there. And again, the computer doesn't care. That's just for our benefit. Some editors actually have a SQL pretty print function that you can highlight your code and it will make it pretty and beautify the code. Some are hard-coded as to what they consider to be, the convention for tabbing and indenting and alignment. Others are very configurable. So depends on, that's really a feature of the query editor you're using, not of the SQL language. So some pro editors like Toad or the MySQL Workbench, if you're working with MySQL, they do it differently. You should explore those features and get to know your tool set. Okay, so let's take a look at the values here for the downloads table. So one is going to be the value for the download ID. One is going to be the value for the foreign key, the user ID. The download date, I want it to be the current date. And so I want the script to, whatever day I run it, to be correct. So rather than hard coding a date value, I'm going to call the function getDate. And that will take whatever the current day is on the day that this script runs and put it in there. And then petals are falling.mp3 is the name of the audio track that's being downloaded, or the audio book. And that should look like a string literal, and it doesn't, so it tells me I forgot to open the string with a single quote. And then there's also one more value we need here, and that is the one, what was that? That's the product ID. See how I can go look up and double check the file name, product ID? Nice. Okay, and then I have 2.2, or 2.2, I should say, get date, turn signal .mp3, comma 1, and then this last row we're going to insert is 3.2, get date, 1 horse town.mp3, and the product ID will be 2. Okay, so there's my script. It's also asking us to write a script that is going to join the tables and give us a list of fields output and ordered by the email address and the product name. In other exercises, we've worked through that kind of problem before, so I'm not going to make this video longer by belaboring that. I'm just going to go ahead and put in my solution for that script. And so this can all be part of one batch again, or one script. There's actually several batches here. Everywhere that you had the word go, it was telling the database to proceed with that before moving on to the next thing. We do the same thing, separating the batches by semicolons. And so if I have done my work correctly, this script should insert these 2 rows, insert these 2 rows, insert these 3 rows, and then it's going to start working on doing the join and the query, and we should get the result back. So I should see, basically success for insert, 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 insert. So, inserts succeeded, or at least not an error, depending on the level of my error reporting that, or my, how verbose the results are. And then I should see, so many rows selected. Hopefully we get some results back. Let's give it a try and see how we get on. Very good. And so any of the intermediate messages, I think, were wiped away when this last batch ran, but we see that the query executed successfully, and that the result, let's move this down here a little bit so we can see everything at once. There we are. So the results are looking as we expected. You should double check the logic and make sure this is what you expected to get. And those rows were inserted correctly and the query operated correctly. And so we have solved that part of the exercise.